So I wanted to go to the Portugal Field School because I feel like the knowledge and the experience that I'm going to get from Portugal is going to benefit my career in the future, because I want to take what I learn from here at SFU and Portugal back to my nation. We're reconstructing funerary practices with the Tahltan Nation, and this is going to benefit my work in helping them be able to do that, being able to understand what I can get from Portugal, and then being able to add it to what's going on in my home territory. Eventually, I'm going to go into heritage resource management and also applying that back home. And I want to give that to my kids, because it's also building an identity, not only for my nation, but also for my children who are First Nations. And they do need that. They need that platform. They need to be able to have that foundation. And me doing this is able to give it to my children as well as my nation.
So using bioarchaeology, you can get at parts of history that maybe aren't covered in textbooks and things like that, because you're looking at daily life in the past a lot of the time, which can answer a lot of more nuanced questions about how people were living in the past, not just people were living here.
Because it's a way that we can tie in with our past culture. So everything is laid down on your bones. What you eat gets put into your bones, different stressors throughout life. So it's a way that we can directly contact these past populations and the way that they interacted with their environment, which is super interesting. Then you can learn about different diseases and the prevalence of it, migrations of people. You can learn about where your family came from. I think it's so interesting.
In some Catholic practices, which the country is mostly Catholic, you will bury a body, and then you'll also later remove it from that and put it in a secondary ossuary.
So you have archaeologists in North America that are excavating the ancestors of other people, and in Europe you have the archaeologists excavating their own ancestors. So that puts things in a very different perspective, right?
If we can have access to the remains, which I think is going to happen because we just had a really intense fire go through our territory, so a lot of the graves are going to have to be remapped and stuff like that, so I'm hoping that I get to be part of that. We'll be able to tell a lot about our history because it's a direct link to our ancestors of what actually is going on, and we'll be able to write it. But not only that, there are places in the communities where they are First Nations where they have human remains, but they haven't been repatriated. So being a First Nations bioarchaeologist, I'm kind of have it in favor to go into that field. And then it's just something that now I'm interested in because they tell us a story, and it's a story that we're going to be able to have that's going to be able to tell us what happened prior to colonization.
Protestant religion is the dominant Christian faith, and there's a big gap between how both of these groups of people see the dead, how they manage cemeteries, and how close culturally and socially death is from the living, and that really impacts how people perceive the archaeological disturbance of human remains. You have to then superimpose on that a First Nations perspective, which is a colonial perspective, where Native groups had their own burial practices and that over time changed under a Protestant framework. So those two things together and the history of disturbance of ancestral remains in North America was really something that was done without the consent of a lot of the groups.
That's something that I really want to incorporate when I do go back home, is just having the community be involved, consulting with the community, making sure that we have people who are expert in certain areas and being able to all collaborate as one without having the conflict. So that was one thing that I really did pick up in Portugal. My nation and what I can do for my nation has always been the front line.
Yeah, I could tell that.
Yeah.
When you're introduced.